the machine becomes so odious, makes you so sick at heart that you can't take part. You can't even passively take part. And you've got to put your bodies upon the gears and upon the wheels, upon the levers, upon all the apparatus, and you've got to make it stop. And you've got to indicate to the people who run it, to the people who own it, that unless you're free, the machine will be prevented from working at all.
He seems upset.
Oh my, wow. Yeah, that if that doesn't get you excited, nothing will. I mean, that's Mario Savio, 1964, on the steps of Sproul Hall, the battle for free speech in Berkeley campus here in California. Not to take that side, but I mean, the energy and the idea may be coming full circle to what we're experiencing today. That's why I wanted to play that.
Yeah, free speech. Well, you know, it's free speech if the powers that be like it. So it's selectively free.
Right. Well, I think what Savio was talking about is that if we can't be free, then we got to stop the machine. We just can't stay in our homes and, have this thing happen to us without any response.
Cool. Well, okay. So got an interesting day, interesting events. Everything's nuts. Our good friend David Viva Fry apparently managed to find himself in the middle of this situation in Cincinnati or whatever, where I guess the person who went into the FBI headquarters or toward it, I have to be really careful with the language. Thank you, YouTube. Misquoted him on True Social, and USA Today is extrapolating inferences that David inspired him to do this and other things at Mar-a-Lago, which is quite a good thing to happen, I guess.
Well, how's David taking it? Is he?
He's not really pleased. he's thankful that he's not trending yet.
Yeah.
But
I like how this one liberal guy has become the right-wing leader of the Patriot movement or something. It's extraordinarily odd how malicious and vicious and distorting the mainstream media can become at any given time when they don't want to listen to what you're saying. I mean, this guy is, still, even by anybody's estimation, a liberal.
Yeah, I would say actually perfect description. I mean, classical liberal.
Yeah.
He's definitely not. I don't know if I'd say he's pretty centrist if we're going to go scale wise, maybe even a little left. Don't know, but he's definitely no hardcore right winger, and that they're painting with a wide brush. But some of that is painting the Barnes brush on him.
Right. So the paint from Barnes is dripping onto Viva's shoes. You're saying?
Yes, it's an overpainted barn.
While Barnes is painting the barn, the paint is dripping onto Viva.
Of course, yes.
Thereby smearing him with a very broad brush.
Yes, coats and coats of paint.
Coats and coats of paint, right-wing paint.
And then also to tease out, we don't have time today because it quite literally came in within an hour before we broadcast. FBI report is back.
What?
On the Rust tragedy.
Oh, come on. It's only been a year.
Yeah, well, you know what? They're moving fast. Moving fast. The significant takeaway that I've gotten previewed from it is 3 people.
How many?
3 people are involved, like we knew, but the physical evidence, high-level takeaway, the guns are in perfect working condition.
Wow.
So guess what?
What?
That means that either he was holding the hammer or holding the trigger back when he pulled the hammer and let it go, or he pulled the trigger, one or the other. So Alec Baldwin's not off the hook. His fingerprints, his DNA obviously is on the gun. Don't know if it's on the bullet. I haven't had time to go through all of it.
Right.
Dave Hall's has fingerprints, DNA, and of course Hannah Reed.
So there's 3 people with DNA on the items.
Correct. I think that there may be Sarah Zachary too on some of the rounds. I saw her name come up, and that would make sense because she did help load belts and different things as well. But I saw, there's like multiple pages. If you, look at this, it's 5 reports. So I was like, okay, there's no way how am I going to go through all of this stuff?
Hey,
And
nobody's blaming you. Lighten up, Hunley.
But anyway,
Okay, it's okay.
we're going through this.
We'll get to it on Tuesday.
Yeah, we definitely
It
will.
just came out. I mean, this is what you call in the business a ultimate Friday, August, summer news dump. There's two dates that are Friday's a traditional news dump in general throughout the year.
For sure.
The first two Fridays in August are the greatest super steroid news dump Fridays of all time, when every human on the earth is on vacation, even if you don't have a job. So to dump it on Friday, what is this, the 11th, the 12th?
This is the 12th. This is literally probably, I would say, the best day, because
the 12th and the 19th, I think, are the two best dates. They chose this one because I think they're going on vacation. So they're not going to be around.
Bye-bye.
The FBI's leaving. So they go, just get it out of here, Bob. I can't look at this crap anymore. It's been here for a year. Now, what I read yesterday in the report you sent me was they're going to mull this over in Santa Fe now for a while. Right? They're not jumping on this. So maybe
here's the thing, though. I find it very curious. Remember, somehow this got to me through a bottle. And maybe the sheriff's department let this bottle get out to put a little pressure on. Hey, come on.
DA, you mean? Or
I don't know. This is purely my projection.
Right. Right.
But it might be a way to do it, right? Well, why not just let the FBI report get out there, and then people can...
As I put on Twitter the other day, they seized the phones of Giuliani, they seized the phones of Bannon, they seized the phones of this congressman in Pennsylvania the other day. They obviously seized the phones of James O'Keefe and took out data. They're still negotiating with Alec Baldwin and the Suffolk County Police after 1 year. 1 year coming up in October. I mean, it's obviously this is late August to get his phone. But yet Peter Navarro's phone was seized physically from his hands. The congressman from Pennsylvania seized physically from his hands. James O'Keefe physically seized from his hands. Bannon, and of course the raid at Mar-a-Lago seized whatever the hell was down there. And Giuliani and others. I can't even remember how many phones they've seized already in terms of the FBI. So apparently there's two different types of justice, Eric.
Well, we're trying. And by the way, I'm distracted right now, looking off to the side. I'm talking to Viva right now. There may be something going on.
What?
So I apologize for the distraction, but we're trying to see if we can do somehow simul stream or something going on here.
A simul stream. I like that. Is that a word?
I guess. I've never tried to. Yes.
Simul stream with Eric Hunley and Mark Robert. This would be a first. America's Untold Simul Streams.
There you go. Why not? Oh, shoot. You can't see the chat. You know what?
No, I'm looking at it. I can see it.
Oh, okay. You see the chat flowing?
I see the comments. I don't know. What am I supposed to do?
Well, because while I'm doing this, we can, start looking at chat and whatever else. I'm trying to see.
Yeah, this one guy said he's surprised. One of them said he's surprised I haven't been raided yet. So, I mean, what do you mean yet? I mean, I've had numerous attempts. I can't get into it now over the years, so I am not a virgin to this area. Unlike Viva, who's now experienced it, I've had a lot of intersection with authorities. Let me put it that way.
Yeah, well, you've of course had the you've had somebody in your house.
Yeah, I've had people in the house. I've had multiple wiretaps and other things, because of my profession and people I've run into. Let me put it that way.
So let me see. I'm trying to get a track of the different things. We did get a super chat already. Yeah, but you just actually read the super chat.
Yeah, no, that's the guy I mentioned. Yeah, whatever.
Okay,
I saw that. Well, I don't know if these people have any questions.
Yeah, but by the way, folks, because I'm really going to have trouble keeping up with everything. Put a Q in front or write question and then the question, because obviously there's conversations going too.
JS, so. Good to see you, JS. This guy says get rid of Viva. We don't even have Viva. We're trying to get Viva. This guy wants to get rid of him already. Mark has a second VPN. I'm asking you, sir. Speaking of VPNs, that's our new sponsor, right, hon?
Yeah, I don't have it prepped though, so it's going to start next week.
This guy Hunley's falling apart. You guys
He's a
gotta
mess.
help him. It's
He's
coming
a
apart at
mess.
the seams.
He's a mess.
I
Oh
lay
my
by
God.
the pool all day waiting for Hunley to call me. I have a life of leisure. I come on the show. Hunley's like ripping his limited hair out, melting down over here over all kinds of issues.
Yeah, whatever hair I have left.
You know what? I put up a thing on Twitter yesterday. It's a photo of John Sinclair, which we want to do an America's Untold Story about. And he looked just like Viva in 1970 in Ann Arbor with the glasses and the fro. Not Abby, because Abby doesn't have this extra stuff with the glasses and the beard kind of thing that John Sinclair has. And it looked like somebody who could be Viva's father.
Nice. Okay, hopefully I don't
Happy Friday, Mark, from SH. Coming up.
Oh, my God. We got
Nahara. Look at this.
Got the fella in here.
Florida's in the house.
Hold on, let me get my earphones in.
Oh, here we go. Super chat, of course. Come on, Hunley.
Come on, Hunley. Let's do this.
This is the attempt to see if we can merge both streams.
I love this. This is high tech super streams.
Yeah.
Now, I've got mine live in
check
4
your
minutes.
Rumble.
And people, I did not mean to overlap with Eric, and I figured we might just have to like split tonight, and I'm never going to do this again. I'm bad.
That's terrible.
No, I'm sorry. I'm genuinely sorry.
Trying to. Okay, I've got it here. I've got 3 of them connected, so I don't know if it kicked off on yours because it was already started. Do not cross the streams. Yeah, but very
Don't
valid
ever cross
advice.
the streams.
Okay, let me see if I can do this. If I'm going to go to my StreamYard now, I'm going to go into enter broadcast. I'm going to go into my studio. It may not work.
Okay, Viva, you could do this. Come on, Viv.
No, if I enter studio on my end now, it's just the dead.
Well,
end.
here. What we could do is here. Go ahead and log into StreamYard using my account. Everybody just loves this. I know this is highly entertaining.
I'll be over here if you guys need me.
Yeah.
You know what, Eric, I might pop. I'll pop out, and I'm going to come back.
What?
And I'll.
What?
And I have.
This is a neurotic stuff.
Oh my God, I'm getting a neurotic.
Well, here, at least just tell us what happened. You know,
What happened?
give us a scoop, and then
Okay, hold on. I'm going to tell my end that we're going to be 5 minutes late. I'm surfing the Twitterverse yesterday, and I see a screen grab in a response to one of my tweets. I don't even know what it's from because it's a screen grab of a platform that I'm not on, which is Truth Social. Apparently, the individual who went to the FBI headquarters with a nail gun and a real gun said he's trying in a series of whatever they call them on Truth Social messages. He says, I'm trying to get information, can't find information, but Viva said Patriots are heading to Mar-a-Lago. I suggest going. And then something about if he gets stopped by feds, kill them.
What?
Now, USA Today ran that caption. Apparently, you know, when you reach millions of people a month and someone does something tremendously stupid and says, Viva said, people think in reading that I said, I suggest going to Mar-a-Lago. And then USA Today runs the story. Other journalists retweet it, and people rightly misunderstand what was ambiguous in the original article. And then others say, this is what happens, Viva. You get people riled up and they do stupid things. As if I didn't say on Tuesday, don't go to Mar-a-Lago, because if you go to Mar-a-Lago, think about what they did to January 6th. It's going to be 10 times worse. As if I didn't say Tuesday and Wednesday, don't do violent things, because this is exactly what happens. They use it not only to demonize everybody, they use it to stifle public discourse so that people now no longer think they can be critical because some unhinged individual is going to do something unhinged.
Hold that thought. Let me show you.
Hello.
Well,
this is a code yellow. Well, isn't it like Kleinsmith crossing out? They were asking if the guy had worked for the CIA, and the FBI agent crossed it out and wrote, "Does not work for the CIA."
Only to USA Today.
It's just terrible. They run it and then suggest that there's anything, because I'm critical of the entity that is the FBI, and people do unhinged things. But I said, don't go to Mar-a-Lago, because it was in response to a super chat. It wasn't even that I said Fox News. Anyhow, So and then the trolls come out, and what they want to do is stifle open discussion and critique. And it's an amazing thing. It's information warfare that is going on out there.
InfoWars. You could say it.
I didn't even put that together, Mark. Okay, gentlemen, I'm gonna pop out. If I end early, I'm gonna pop back in. I'm sorry.
Okay, thank you for coming by.
I'm sorry I did it, everybody. I didn't do it because I didn't realize Eric and Mark were live this afternoon.
No harm, no foul. We'll see you.
Thank you. Okay. See you soon.
Now back to our show. When we last left off, Viva was being hunted by the FBI in episode 6. He flees down to Florida, where he's hiding out in Boca Raton, trying to get down to Mar-a-Lago, which will be in episode 7, unless something happens in between episodes.
Yeah, why not?
Isn't it weird? Doesn't it seem like the real world is like intruding into our YouTube streams? Like all of a sudden there's no barrier anymore. Like they're coming right into the YouTube.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully not too much, but there is a lot of crossover. I mean, we have Barnes on here. I mean, what were they were on here last week, right?
Yeah. I mean, Barnes is on here. Then I had dinner with Barnes. Then Barnes is in a courtroom. Then
Barnes
has me on. He has me on InfoWars as a guest. I'm completely confused who I am at this point. I don't know if I'm an icon or an avatar or a real person doing this.
No, you're definitely an icon.
An icon. It's an iconoclast.
That's right.
All right. Who's got a question as long as we're here?
Okay,
let's see if we can answer. Or
let's go ahead.
What you said was a Q&O, questions and opinions, not questions and answers.
Well, you know what? I just thought about it for a second, and maybe I'm speaking for myself. You can ask questions. I'll say something. It may be an answer. It may just be an opinion. I don't even know because I may not freaking know.
It's going to be an answer. Whether it's the right answer or not, we don't know, but we'll definitely give you our opinion.
For sure. Got that one already. We got more books. All right. Hearts and Prayers for Georgina. Application for the third mortgage has been turned down. Oh my.
That's funny.
Oh my.
Yeah, the book thing is getting heavy because we got to get these. This is insane. I mean, I've got to get these Curtis LeMay books, and they're pretty expensive. So any help on PayPal would be a treat.
So does it go with a rank? If they're a general, they cost more? I mean, what the hell?
I don't know. They're just out of print books. I mean, no. He's a 4-star. Maybe the 2-star books are cheaper. I don't know.
Oh, so it's $40 for a Walker and then $100.
Yeah, these are $150. I mean, there's a LeMay. There's a LeMay There's a LeMay autobiography that I got to get. It's $150.
Okay, so it is matching the rank. I didn't.
Yes, I'm saying as the rank goes up, the price of the books go up. You get into presidential biographies, probably $200.
Oh my God! Oh, yeah. Mark knows about the hash thing. What are your thoughts?
I'm kind of in the middle of that, so I don't know if I could.
Okay. Cool.
Well, let me just say this: another casualty in the drug war, and I don't mean the war on drugs. I mean the drug war. This is some sort of cocaine laced with fentanyl situation. And it's not, it's just could happen to anybody. It doesn't mean that she's an actress or anything else in Hollywood. I mean, it's a ongoing situation. And let me just put it this way. Okay, I'll explain it. Forget about Anne Heche for a second. I'll explain this so people can understand this maybe at home. I know it's a little confusing, but the Chinese are sending 55-gallon drums of fentanyl to Mexico for like $1,000. I'm just making up the price, but the price is so cheap for the fentanyl that the Mexican drug cartels are using it as cut on all the drugs. So in other words, cut used to be baby laxative and cocaine, right, Eric? You know what I mean? You would use inositol.
Oh, I wouldn't know anything about that.
Okay, well, I mean, just to cut through the chase, you used to use these innocuous substances just to give it weight. And one of them was inositol with cocaine, for instance. They're using fentanyl as a cut on cocaine. Fentanyl, which is literally can kill you with a tiny thumbnail amount. And they're also pressing prescription drugs out of fentanyl, putting the logos of the prescription drugs onto the pill using pill machines down in Mexico. So where if you're buying Xanax, it is now fentanyl on the street. So people who are buying drugs on the street are now having to demand that they show the prescription drug bottle to show that it came from a pharmacy. Every single drug on the street now has fentanyl in it. and some of them are 100% or 50% fentanyl. And I've lost a lot of friends who were just social, if that makes any sense, weekend cocaine users and not abusers. And they had fentanyl in the cocaine and it killed them. She is now one of those people. For what that work is, that means anything to anybody out there, take it to heart, because it's not about Anne Heche. It's really about this insanity that's coming out of Mexico because of the Chinese. And that's what I really wanted to discuss, and not her in particular, since they haven't released a toxicology report. This is just an educated anecdotal report that I'm getting from people who are in the know. So,
by the way, folks, I put a link in the description just now, and I also dropped it in the chat a minute ago, of an interview I did with Mark and Dr. Drew. And you guys broke down the whole situation about the fentanyl in China and the homeless.
Okay. Oh, I don't remember.
It was all about that. So if you guys want to check it out, it was on my channel. Link in the description. At any time, just go check it out. It's a very good interview. It's Dr. Drew and Mark, and they spend a bit of time talking about how, like, Oxycontin pills are literally fentanyl pressed and the bottles and everything you just said. So
okay. So I just, if nobody heard that, I'm just reiterating what I said with Dr. Drew, and it's more so today. I mean, Trump apparently spoke to, when he was in power, he got the Chinese top dog there to stop sending it here. They were sending it, and these are different corporations, different companies that have chemical companies in China. They were literally sending it in U.S. mail pouches all over the country and boxes. And, now they're shipping it literally in 55-gallon drums to Mexico, where the drug cartels are doing what they're doing. I don't understand the business model, because if it kills your customers, I don't know why you would come back from a Mexican drug cartel point of view. From the Chinese point of view, it just seems like another
poisoning a generation.
I cannot spin it or explain it any other way from the Chinese Communist Party point of view of just killing Americans.
Yeah, a good way to do it. Get a whole generation.
It's an act of war. I mean, you could spin it any way you want, but I mean, at some point, it may be revenge for their opium wars, Eric, with the British.
Okay, got a question from locals. If you were the establishment, would you want Biden to run again in 2024? Why not have him take a probable loss?
I don't understand if he can make it to 2024.
That was my first thought.
It just seems mathematically impossible for him to continue that from that happening. I just don't see that. He's lucky to make it past the midterms. I think he's going to bail out January 1st and turn it over to her.
I can. What would that mean, a timer? I'm thinking February 1st, or to get I've said since before the election, and Mark can confirm this, that they will have him in there for 2 years and 1 day, or right about that, so they could try to run Kamala for 10 years. The maximum.
So all I'm saying is that whenever the new Congress is sworn in, I think they're going to try to steal that news, which is kind of a minor thing, but they're going to steal and step on that, red takeover of the House and the Senate by having him step down and her sworn in, whether it's January 1st or January 20th. I think it's going to happen somewhere in that window. And then she's going to be the president. Who becomes vice president is now, I believe, the fight. Well, I don't know, but I'm saying that's the fight to the death that's going on in the smoke-filled rooms of the Democratic Party in Brooklyn, New York.
Yeah, and there's other speculation. I don't follow it, where they're like, oh, they'll get rid of her and just put in a new VP, and then that. I'm like, I don't know. I don't see her saying, oh, okay, yeah, I'll leave now and let somebody else come in and take over. That's
not going to happen. As Larry Elder said, she has a 90% approval rating in the base of the Democratic Party, with black women who are the base and heart and soul of the Democratic Party. Never going to happen. She has enormous support by black women Democrats, and she has to move up into the presidential slot. There's just no way politically around it. Who they replace her with is the battle to the death that's going on right now, because she has, been positioned in this long before the election. This was a battle, when she faltered in the presidential election, they quickly moved to this structure where they knew he was not going to last more than 2 years or more than 4 years.
Yeah, well, he's pretty much a standard.
I think Barnes would probably agree. I mean, I don't know, what his opinion is. I'll I'd love to hear what he has to say on this. But, as Larry Elder was on the other day, and Elder was explaining the base of the Democratic Party is black women at this point. Even black men are voting for Trump. Even their polling, the Mexicans have, switched over to the Republican Party, according to what's his name over there, the People's Pundit. There's so much support for the Republicans because the working class Mexicans are now moving across the aisle.
Okay. Some questions from Rumble. When did Mark meet Barnes? I think that was through me.
When did I meet him physically, or through you? Right? I mean, yeah, through your channel, I think. Right or no?
Yeah. You met him through my channel. I put you guys together. You met in person though.
In Vegas.
Right? A month or two ago, right?
Yeah, in Las Vegas. And
Yeah.
well, twice in Vegas now. Yeah, twice.
Okay. Do you have any comments on the 1974 movie, The Parallax View? Is it a good one to
Of
watch
course.
to get the idea,
Yes.
the zeitgeist of that time?
Yes, it's Alan J. Pakula, I think. The Paranoid film series of Pakula. That's they made a lot of paranoid films in the early 70s, and this is one of the classics with Warren Beatty. Absolutely fantastic movie. Seconds is another one by John Frankenheimer, starring Rock Hudson. There's a couple of these. The Conversation, obviously, a couple
Hackman,
with Hackman and Will Smith, I think. There's a number of these paranoid films that are coming around. Paranoid theme films that are coming around full circle and being looked at again. Parallax View being one of them.
Okay, this is an interesting question. I just saw the Elvis movie. It made me wonder if Colonel Tom Parker was CIA. Thoughts?
No, but we have to do an episode. We should do an episode on Parker because he's such a freak. I mean, he sneaks over to America. One of the Parker stories was that he was a stowaway. He came over here, may have murdered someone in Germany before he came here, stowed away on a ship, escaped in the middle of the night, and refused to book Elvis on world tours, which embittered Elvis. And it's simply because Parker could not leave the United States and expect to get back. He had no papers. And Elvis kept saying, I want to tour the Soviet Union. I want to tour Europe. I want to be like the Beatles. And he just kept placating Elvis. There's a couple of books on Parker that are really.
Yeah, we will. It's on the list now. I didn't know.
Yeah, okay. I mean, he's an American original, even though he never became an American citizen.
No, I've never heard about him, and that sounds like an untold story.
Oh, well, Hunley. Oh, he was a carny and a roustabout. He managed all these country acts that would play at carnivals across the country, eventually managing Elvis. But there were others that he managed before Elvis. But the key story that I always liked was the fact that he couldn't book Elvis overseas because he couldn't go, Parker.
Wow. Guys need to put questions or a cue or something.
He wasn't a Yahtzee, that's for sure. But and I don't think he was CIA either.
A Yahtzee. I love that.
A Yahtzee.
All right. Do we have any locals questions? Nope. Okay. Not at the moment.
This one from Miles over here. It says, are you writing a screenplay for the JFK assassination? I've already done that. So we're now trying to get it into a Audible book play with a company that Tom and I are dealing with. We're going to find out more in the next week or two, which would be an all-star production of an audio reading and with sound effects and everything else of the miniseries I wrote for Oliver Stone, which is 10 hours called Oswald.
Okay. Somebody's saying, check my long-winded local. I don't see anything. There's a locals chat. So if you have a question.
Long-winded local.
Yeah. I'm guessing there's a comment somewhere and I can't chase that down right now. So there's a chat tied to the episode. Please come in. Thank you, Ken Waring. Appreciate it very much.
Thanks, Ken.
And we've got a super sticker from Lady Freddie. Thank you very much.
Lady Freddie.
Question. Wonder if the 70s movie Flesh Gordon and Elon Musk have anything in common?
That's going in the Question Hall of Fame. I don't know anything about any of this stuff. Flesh Gordon, is that a porno film? Like, was that light porn?
I think. Do you remember in the 70s and 80s that they had these films where they were just like not rated. They weren't really porn, but they were they were like Skinemax movies, but it was before Cinemax. It was just these.
I don't know, but there's a
low budget.
question from Georgina that might be appropriate. I don't know about Flesh Gordon, but
Oh my, thank you, Georgina.
yeah.
How do you stay positive with the future of America? I'm truly struggling. I'm sorry to hear that. Appreciate all the people you've connected me to, Eric, and thank you, Georgina. You're a sweetheart. Man.
Okay, so I try to listen to Barnes. I don't know how he's optimistic. I'm pessimistic by nature. He's apparently optimistic by nature. I listen to him, and I am amazed that he's optimistic. Again, that being said, he's in the state, so he's part of the system. And I think people who are generally in the system are more optimistic. People who are lawyers, doctors, dentists, because they're part and invested emotionally into the success of the state. I'm not. I mean, I've been freelance my entire life. I don't have a wife and kids, sadly, but there's still time. And the situation that I am a fringe player. I mean, I am on the outside looking in. So I am not invested legally through any licensure or anything with the state. And that, while being a good thing in terms of free thinking, is also leads me to be more depressed about the future than Barnes. If that makes any sense. So I listen to him, and I'm amazed that he thinks we're going to get out of this freaking mess, because I've been through a lot. I mean, as a kid, I saw, Ruby shoot Oswald on TV, sitting next to my parents, having come back from PS 194 on Knapp Street, across the street to my house, and watch that on a Sunday. So that's how I got started in this business. After that, I saw a lot of crap that I, kind of framed my viewpoint of the world. But yeah, I don't know how people stay optimistic about this. They're really, I mean, to me, I pray and I am spiritual and I'm into God and everything else. So that really keeps me going in a general. And I pray about the country every day. So that does keep me going spiritually. But politically, man, I don't know.
Well, the darkness before the dawn. Thoughts on Billy Hayes of Midnight Express fame?
What am I going to say? The guy smuggled drugs. He got caught. And it's like the Griner in the Soviet Union, in Russia, right?
Fair enough.
I mean, didn't he die of AIDS later? I mean, I think he,
I don't know. I know that he was in the movie. I think
the actor died of AIDS.
Oh, okay. When is Oswald coming out? Someday.
Well, I just answered that with the audio thing we're working on.
Okay.
Right. That would be Oswald coming out. I don't know if he's coming out of the closet, but that would be, it's a pretty big production. Let me just put it that way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any episodes planned about the UN?
Not really. I mean, it's the United Nations. We're trying to focus on the United States more than the United Nations, I think.
I believe we're going to be doing this as an episode. Were you involved in the movie Heavy Metal?
Indirectly. I mean, I was associate publisher of the magazine, so I was there for a couple of years dealing with heavy metal.
And especially the rights issues.
Yeah, it really is a legal thing. I don't know if it's a full episode on this thing, because it just becomes a rights lawyers issue at some point with the movie,
Yeah, this isn't a question, but we agree.
Yeah,
that Barnes is kind of a bomb.
I don't know how he stays optimistic. I really don't. I mean, God bless him.
All right. How are you not on your fourth wife yet? I love it.
No, you ever see those people have 4 or 5 wives? I mean, Larry King had 4 or 5 wives, and they're always the craziest. The wives are fine, but the guys who have 4 or 5 wives, those are the ones you have to look out for, because they're dangerous.
Isn't the whole deep state today way more viewable than in the 60s or 90s?
Yes, because of the internet. Absolutely. And I think, and I've discussed this with Eric and Barnes, and I think that's why they're more vicious now, because they literally are taken off the mask, because we now are able to see them more clearly because of the internet and digging down through the internet to find out who they are. Yeah, I definitely.
And this one I'm not sure about, but Alex is saying that, Mark, I told you the deep state is far worse now than when Kennedy was taken out. By the way, it's going to get worse. I don't know if I agree with that.
Oh, I don't know about that. I mean, they were blowing people's heads off. We haven't
exactly.
had a political assassination, Alex, in many, many years. So I tend to disagree with you there. The violence that I lived through, it was month after month after month of assassinations. And
Also in early
cities
70s.
in cities in the 70s, and also the cities burning to the ground.
What about bombs? I think it
And
was
then the Weather
300,
Underground.
300
the Weather
bombs in
Underground.
1 year.
Yeah. I mean, it's not even close to what it was like back then.
So yeah, even it's hard for me because I mean I was a child then, but
You're still
if I read the history.
Yeah.
Thank you. Well, yes, compared to you, I will always be.
Mm-hmm.
Any speculation on the mole informant at Mal, maybe USS trying to make amends for erased texts?
Is it Mal Mar-a-Lago? Is that what Mal is?
Maybe.
It's a speculation that the Secret Service was. I think what Skylight is saying here, that the Secret Service was a deep throat inside Mar-a-Lago. And as I said to you, we're going to do an episode on the Secret Service. Do not trust the Secret Service. They will sell out the guy they're guarding in a heartbeat. They will do the strangest things. They will follow leaders that tell them what to do. Look at the Hunter Biden thing with the gun and the coke and the whores and everything else. They stood by and watched all of that. They are very sketchy. They should be disbanded. They're still in the Treasury Department. There should be, I hate to say it, some other agency protecting these people. Robert Kennedy tried to get them off his brother at the last minute in the summer of 1963 to no avail. Actually wrote legislation. Robert Kennedy wrote a bill that he tried to get through the House in 63 that did not get to the floor about eliminating the protection of the Secret Service for his brother.
Yeah.
And for other presidents. So too little, too late.
Locals question. Have either of you seen Where the Crawdads Sing? Any thoughts?
I have not heard of the Crawdads singing. If they're singing, I haven't heard them.
They're singing. Gurgle.
I haven't heard them. I'm going to have to sing a little bit louder because I can't
They're
hear
underwater.
You. I can't hear you. You Crawdads.
Can you talk about James Garner?
The actor?
I guess.
Not really. Well, I think he played
Maverick and Rockford Files, and
I think he played Dr. Bob to James Woods's Bill Wilson at one point in a biopic.
That on the smoking or the wait
for the history of AA. I think it was James.
Oh, okay,
right.
Yeah,
I mean, James Garner. Wow, I haven't thought of him in a while.
Oh, good. I mean, good actor. I like him.
Oh, yeah.
But let me see. Okay. Don't know that. There was no Hunter episode. Somebody asked, I don't know if, any. I don't know if we're going to do an Oklahoma City. I believe Barnes has done a Hush Hush. If people want to check it out on Viva
Yeah,
Barnes.
look at Barnes' Hush Hush on. I think it'll cover it. He's more into it than I am. It was more his generation than mine. He played the Scrounger in The Great Escape. Oh, yeah. James Garner was the Scrounger in The Great Escape. Thank you. That's right.
Have we watched the remake of the Ipcress File?
No, I don't even remember the first one. I got to look at the first one. There's a remake of it?
Apparently. All right. Brian is optimistic.
Questions. I'm optimistic because we keep each other on our team. And Sandy also said, well, that is true. That's vaguely what I was saying. Yeah. Yeah, there is some hope there.
All right, Secret Service.
The question is, what are you going to do when they come for you?
Rosemary's Baby, fact or fiction?
Rosemary, dude, these movie questions are insane.
You know what?
What am I, Rex Reed or something for the New York Post? I mean,
when you say question,
Rosemary's Baby, fact or fiction? Let me think about that. Satan's spawn coming out of Mia Farrow's body. Look, there's a lot of weirdness in that movie. I'll tell you that much. More should be looked into that film.
I did not know that this existed. They saw a National Lampoon movie, Dirty Jokes or something. Were you part of that?
I luckily no. I don't know anything about it, but
you did the Dirty Joke book.
But thank God they didn't drag me into this mayhem.
Didn't they take out Supreme Court Justice Scalia?
Look, this is my opinion. I think he was killed with a pillow over the head. And I've said this from day one. There's some book about it I read recently Kindle version of a book, and I think he was murdered. That's just, I don't have any. There was nobody in the hunting lodge where he was. He overslept, and he woke up with a pillow on his face, and then immediate cremation. So it doesn't look good to me personally. I unless I find out something else, I think it's just too easy. I mean, look how they're stalking Kavanaugh now. Look, I mean, if you could alter the face of the court, which they did, by putting a pillow over a guy's face, would anybody put that past them at this point? For the love of God?
It may not even be government. It may not be deep state. It could just be people.
Yeah.
Who had access.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. All right. This should be fun. How do you feel about another 87,000 armed IRS agents?
What do you mean, like another? Is there another 87,000?
Yeah.
Already?
They put out. You didn't see their job announcement? And
No, I did. But he's saying another 87,000 armed IRS agents. Isn't this?
I think they're stocking up. We've got to.
No.
I think we have 87,000. We're going to get another. We're going to double it.
Okay. I don't know about the original. Are regular accountants armed? The ones they have now? I know this is a new hire. I think what they're doing is they're going to hire ex-cops who were defunded and fired during the defunding of police forces across the country. Those are going to be the number one applicants for these jobs because they're law enforcement out of work, defunded by different cities, and they're going to apply for these IRS jobs, I believe, unless you have to legally be an accountant. Then you've got this really weird combination of accountant gunslinger. I mean, how many accountants are gun people? It just
a ton of FBI agents. But no, I have issues of why the hell you even have armed IRS agents at all. I mean, we do have the FBI. We do have every other freaking
It's
ATF.
totally insane.
We have Secret Service. Yeah. I would think the Secret Service would fill the role that these supposed whatever. Don't get me going on that.
I don't know why they have to be armed. It's absolutely ridiculous.
And you might know this. Why was the fatwa decreed? If I recall, it was Satanic Verses.
Satanic Verses, yeah, the novel. I guess they didn't like the way it depicted Khomeini and Muhammad in the novel. And like I was saying to Eric before the show, apparently fatwas have no statute of limitations. And fatwa doesn't run out. It's once you're fatwa'd, it's forever, and Eric says that they pay them money, the family, right, Eric? Or
yeah, no, he put up literally 2.5 million, and apparently Khomeini did himself, right? And the government, I guess, downplayed it.
Well, I guess we're going to have to look at his Twitter account and see if he's celebrating Khomeini on Twitter. That would be,
yeah, I guess he's still there. Yeah, that makes sense.
He still has a Twitter account apparently.
Of course.
Yeah, and rightfully so. I mean, he's the Khomeini. He's the He's the other Ayatollah. The first Ayatollah died. This is okay, right. This is the second Ayatollah too.
Well, he can have it. Hinckley can have it. I mean, come on. We have good people.
Right.
All right, here you go. Did the CIA fake the moon landing?
No, but they faked the one on Mars. The landing on Mars, which they never recorded, was faked.
All right. I don't know what's happening with Hunter Biden. Not in U.S. I don't hear much except on the internet.
I don't know where he is.
I think they're moving him around. Doesn't they just pay for him to stay in Malibu?
Well, he was living over here on Sunset, Sunset Plaza up above, and then he was in Malibu at this rehab. So I physically don't know. He's usually right here in Hollywood, unless he's somewhere else. But his base of operation is here in Hollywood or in Malibu, from what I understand, recently in the past number of years. But he may be on tour with his paintings, the abstract art of Hunter Biden as discussed in I did want to say something about the Tom Brady thing.
Oh yeah, there we go.
Last week. I forgot. I didn't have time because Hunley was in a hurry to go to a barbecue or something. But
nice try.
I wanted to finish up about Tom Brady, the CIA guy who ends up being not just the face of Crossfire on CNN, also an executive at CNN, and also a guy who wrote the novel 8 is Enough, which becomes the TV show with Van Patten playing him in the 8 is Enough ABC sitcom. There it is. That's written by Tom Brady of the CIA. And Tom Brady ends up on Crossfire as the liberal voice against Pat Buchanan. There's Tom Braden. Yeah, there he is. And he ends up going up against not only Pat Buchanan, but later on another guy who is currently on Fox at night. I don't know if you have a photo of him.
I don't, but that's within Pat Buchanan. But
that's with Pat Buchanan. Yeah, there's another one after Pat was on. I think Pat was replaced by Tucker Carlson on Crossfire on CNN.
All right. Well, yeah, I don't have that, but I do have something else. So people can hear his wonderful voice and presentation.
Okay, go ahead. Make it quick so we don't get.
It is my humble duty tonight to introduce you to the Grand and Imperial Wizard of the Invisible Knights of the Ku Klux Klan.
Okay, thanks, Unli. Thank you. Thanks. Thank you.
I loved his presentation, though. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my.
Well, I was trying to say last week that back then the CIA was on the left, then it was on the right, and now it's back on the left. That somebody was asking me that on the comment section. Back in those days, they were on the liberal side, and then they switched over to the conservative side, and then they went back to the liberal side where they are today. So, who's ever pulling their strings, the CIA maneuvers in different directions.
Ooh, I think this one's going to come up. Has Mark looked into Sonny Bono's death?
I know all about Sonny Bono's death. Yeah. What do you want to know about Sonny Bono's death? He crashed into a tree skiing high on benzodiazepine. But I'll tell you this much. When he became a congressman, he was in Scientology. He was kidnapped by Scientologists and taken to a cabin in Big Bear where they browbeat him into not leaving Scientology because they wanted to have a Scientology in the United States, a Scientologist in the U.S. Congress. And Sonny Bono was a Scientologist, and he gave it up. And they took him to this cabin, and they tried to wear him down. They didn't beat him, but they tried to verbally convince him not to leave the church. And then Chaz showed up and rescued him. And Chaz told me this story herself. So there's a lot of veracity to it. So I hope that helps.
Wow. Any political link between JFK and Charles Lindbergh?
I don't know about that. Lindbergh and
there might have been crossover slightly, but
yeah, I don't know about that one. That's a strange bedfellow.
Okay.
I don't know anything about that one.
All right. Got a Rumble question. What's Robert McNamara's involvement, if any, in JFK assassination?
Okay, well, we're going to find out because in my new exploration into Curtis LeMay writes that McNamara was his arch nemesis. McNamara and Kennedy are very close. So McNamara is on the side of JFK, and he becomes the voice of JFK in terms of the military-industrial complex. And LeMay hated McNamara's guts for one reason. He says that he's been ordered by civilians his whole life to do things, but McNamara told him what to do militarily. And he said, no civilian had ever done that to me as a general, told me specifically militarily what to do. So I'm exploring LeMay for the first time in a deep dive now. And that's what I just recently learned the past day or two about this feud between McNamara and Curtis LeMay. And he didn't look at McNamara as a separate entity. He looked at McNamara as the voice of JFK, who he verbally fought with over nuclear weapons issues, LeMay.
Not a question, but it's interesting. The night Scalia died, Bill Maher had a segment on how much he hated Scalia and wished him dead.
It's interesting. Maybe Bill Maher killed him, but he had the alibi of being on the show, unless the show was taped earlier and he was at the hunting lodge in Wyoming or wherever it happened, Colorado, and came back to do the show. I wouldn't put it past Bill Maher at this point.
Could be. Okay, so back to locals questions. What do you theorize Trump has that the deep state is looking for?
Oh, this is Barnes's theory. I don't know. That's what Robert says, what he has. First of all, let's just to address the declassification thing. Anything that any document a president takes can be declassified by a president at any time. So now what they've done is they've escalated the subject matter of the so-called documents as to be nuclear, to make them more important. Even if they are nuclear, which the Washington Post has no idea what they are, a president can declassify any document, including JFK assassination documents, which they could equally say that he's sitting on, and declassify them so they're declassified documents and not top secret any longer. This witch hunt about him with declassified or classified documents is a moot point, because as president, he could have, before he left on January 19th, declassified every single document with one stroke of the pen that he took with him, which I assume he did. You know what I mean? It would be ridiculous not to, since he's got that power to do it. As to what's in there, according to Barnes, he seems to feel that these are documents that indicts the deep state. And I don't know what documentation that
insurance, I think you was
some
saying,
sort of
kinda.
insurance against them taking them out. Again, I don't know what would be written on paper, but I wouldn't put it past them. I don't know what the documents could possibly be, if they're internal FBI documents of them discussing Russia Gate. You know, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that could come across his desk from Rick Grinnell or some of the other people who were on his side the last year of his presidency. So, yeah, it very well could be. But the point of the matter is, taking those documents, I mean, it's not going to end the documents. I mean, I'm sure there's copies of whatever it is they took. So that doesn't make any sense.
This is an interesting one. Faster Man, who's the photographer, rock and roll photographer.
Hey, Faster Man.
Do a story on all the actresses and playmates who prostituted themselves to rich Saudis and Dubai billionaires.
Wow.
That's probably, I don't know if it's American though, because they're going over there. So I'm sure it'd be an interesting story. And I know that that it happens.
Yeah, it definitely does happen. Yeah, it's happened a lot. And it says, Mark, we both know this did happen a lot. Okay. What would you like me to do about it? But it does happen a lot. Yeah. Recently to a little blonde actress who's making a comeback, which we're going to see very shortly.
Thank you, Cuba.
My movie money. I
Quo
love listening to you guys in Viva and Barnes.
Well, thank you.
Thank you. Quo Vadis.
And somebody there. Have either of us been audited?
I've never been audited. You know,
Neither,
knock on
neither
wood.
have I.
Yeah.
I'm not
With the
in a rush.
87,000. I don't know. Could be any time. I mean, I don't know. You know what did happen once in New York? They went after, this is really interesting, a number of years later, they went after independent artists and reassessed their taxes. And not just me, they did this to everyone, then froze everyone's bank accounts. This is really crazy. I was working on a movie in Puerto Rico called Manhattan Merengue. And on New Year's Eve, intentionally, the treasurer of the city of New York froze the bank accounts of all these independent artists who worked as, with 1099s, and said, we have looked into your taxes the past 5 years and you owe us X amount of money. And I got on the phone with the guy and I told him my family's history in New York and how it was a multi-generational history and how outrageous this was to freeze my account while I was in Puerto Rico and couldn't deal with it working on a film, and how my grandfather was the consultant and campaign manager to Impellitteri, the mayor of New York, and all this other stuff. And the guy, after I gave him this whole song and dance, which was all true, he unfroze my bank account. And it ended up being a story, not just about me, but many other artists who had their accounts frozen in New York. They never did it again. And they did it to thousands of artists to reassess their taxes as independent artists.
Oh, that's crazy.
I know.
Oh, great. IRS has the highest percentage of discharges of any law enforcement.
Oh, you mean from guns?
Apparently.
Accidental discharges of guns?
I'm guessing it's guns.
Or, okay, I thought that meant sexually or something. Like there was a discharge.
I'm gonna go with the guns. Thanks,
Sorry,
guys.
I didn't say guns.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Mojo.
And does the classification level matter?
Of what? Of declassification? No, not at all.
So.
Not at all. He's got the power to declassify any document. Does not matter. Does not matter. Blanket power of every president. you can't do it when you're not president, but obviously, why would he do it January 29th when you could do it? You could do all of them January 19th. So yeah, the classification does not matter.
All right, let me get back to faster man.
But I did want to read this one thing, Eric.
He wants you to hook him up. That's what he's asking.
Oh, come on, Festerman. I mean, you've reached a new low, Festerman, and wants you to hook you up. I mean, come on. There is a document that they're citing now. I think Barnes is talking about this and others. I just want to read this. This is from 18 U.S. Code 2383, rebellion or insurrection. How do you like these new glasses? They look pretty big, right?
Yeah.
Really? They're just readers. But U.S. Code, whoever incites, sets on foot, assists, or engages in any rebellion or insurrection against the authority of the United States or the laws thereof, or gives aid or comfort thereto, shall be fined under this title or imprisoned not more than 10 years or both, and shall be incapable, and I think this is the key part of the provision here, and shall be incapable of holding any office under the United States. And I don't know, Barnes doesn't seem to think this is where they're going. I happen to think this is where they're going in regards to Trump. He doesn't believe it because he thinks that DeSantis is insurance against an indictment against Trump. And I think they're going to take these guys one at a time. And they have too much pressure on them to not indict Trump under 18 U.S. Code. And I think that's where this is going to go, to ban him from holding public office, because any indictment of Trump does not stop Trump. As Barnes pointed out, Eugene Debs ran from prison in the 1920s as a communist and a socialist. He ran for presidency from prison. So there is no criminal thing that stops you. And I guess Trump could, except this insurrection thing. And I think the entire January 6th debacle and hearings and trials and everything else is about this. And that's just my opinion. Really? Let me try them again. Hold on, Chris. This is just my opinion. Good evening, folks.
The Cronkite.
Oh, God. But yeah, I think that's where they're going with this. And I think he'll be indicted under this statute. And I think the thing in Mar-a-Lago was a fishing expedition. And stealing everyone's phones, looking for taxes. I'm not sure what that was.
Looking for taxes and planting things. IRS rule.
Look, you don't have to plant anything because you're coming out with it. Why? You could just say you found it there. But there is security cameras, right? That not Eric Hunley, but Eric Trump is going to release.
I guess. I'm sure that they have something. Question: do you believe the theory that there are deep state lifetime actors in the entertainment?
Oh yeah.
If do you know any? Love the show, by the way. Thank you, Big A. Tom Hanks.
Tom Hanks, I think, just passed the baton to what's his face, the new guy who, what's the guy's name? He's now dating Uma Abedin, oddly enough, which signaled to me that he was now deep state. He was in the film, the remake of the film with Lady Gaga.
Ryan Reynolds?
Not Ryan Reynolds. What's the guy's name? Brad.
Brad. Okay. Bradley
Cooper. Bradley Cooper. I think he has now replaced Tom Hanks as and I want everybody to watch Bradley Cooper's career, because of all the beautiful women that this guy could possibly date in Hollywood, he has been fixed up by the editor of not Vanity Fair, but one of the fashion magazines with Uma Abedin.
That's Wiener's ex, right?
That's right. That's Hillary Clinton's main assistant.
Yeah. The one who's
idea that Bradley Cooper, right? The idea that Bradley Cooper would be dating Uma Abedin has deep state written all over it in Dayglow freaking paint.
When's our honeypots coming out?
Uma Abedin, who is Hillary Clinton's assistant, is now with Bradley Cooper. And I want people to watch the movie choices that Bradley Cooper now makes and see if they have the fingerprints of the deep state on them going forward from this day.
Wow.
Okay, that's my prediction.
Jeez. How many newer FBI and CIA agents are woke ideologues? Too many.
I think it's too many, but I still think it's a handful. I just find it hard to believe that cats who were there for a long time all of a sudden woke up one day and were woke. I think the new hires are, as they are doing with the British London police force, which they said today, if you're not progressive and woke, don't even bother to apply for a job on the London police force, which, is a little crazy. And I think, the hirings of the woke CIA people is going forward. I don't know, other than the leadership, Eric. Obviously, the leadership of all these groups are woke, the Mark Mileys and everyone who's at the top of all of these organizations. I just don't think, you're a CIA agent and you wake up one day and all of a sudden these issues are your issues.
I hate this one. Have you ever looked into the whole Hollywood touching little or just bad people 666 Illuminati gig?
They're my friends. I can't really get this. What am I? I'll never work if I have to do that. I mean, come on. You're talking about the people who run the town. I mean,
Oh, good Lord. Let me see. Interested party locals. I've been hearing complaints for years that people can't get through to a person on the IRS on the phone, and it takes weeks to get appointments. Maybe if the employees are armed, people won't call so often.
You can't get through and you can't get an appointment. The only way to function is online with them. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Hunter is on Kauai Island in South Carolina with the Biden family this week.
Oh, okay.
What is Mark's poster over your right shoulder?
Over my right shoulder?
I think it's the key to the city.
That's the key to the city of
yeah.
New Orleans. Yeah, that's from the mayor of New Orleans when we put on the world's largest toga party.
Which is an episode in our
It's an episode. Yeah, you can watch it and how I got the key to the city of New Orleans in what episode was that?
Toga.
It was a toga.
World's
episode.
Largest toga party, or
Right.
I think it's I think that's what I called it.
Right.
Search toga. It should come right
Yeah,
up.
it should come up.
Would Mark go on late night YouTube shows? There are two that both he and you would be great on, but they go to 2 a.m. Central.
Anywhere, anytime. To quote Travis Bickle in Taxi Driver, anywhere, anytime, any place.
Who's the second one? One's Ricada.
I don't know.
I don't know who the second one is.
I don't know why they're on late night. Is it they just up doing stuff or something?
Yeah, Nick. Well, Nick's a weirdo, but he does that's his thing. He's a late night DJ, lawyer. And
I'd be happy. I'd love to talk to the guy. I think he's very funny.
Oh, he's fantastic. Definitely.
I think he's very, very funny. And it's snarky. I put it that way, snarky.
Well, and you appreciate how he responded to YouTube.
That was great. Dude, I love this guy. He must be part Brooklyn. I don't know where he got. Where's the guy from? Minnesota.
Well, he's born in Texas, in Houston,
okay.
but raised, I think, and spent a lot of time in Minnesota.
Wow.
But, okay. Legal Mindset, I guess, does it. I've been on Legal Mindset a couple times.
What happened to the Legal Bites lady? Is she still doing her thing?
Yeah, she was just on with me last night.
Okay.
Doing this. She'll be talking to you soon, I think, about the baseball dude.
Oh, Trevor Bauer. Yeah.
Trevor, sorry.
Yeah, Trevor Bauer. Yeah, that's a tough one.
All right. Let's see. Start wrapping things up. We got a couple super chats here.
What you just got here, Hunley? What's going on? You're always wrapping shit up, Hunley. I get dressed up to come to this party, and you're always
keep people wanting. All right. The Constitution lays out criteria for the presidency. It's possible applying U.S. Code 18C to the presidency would be unconstitutional.
Right. I don't know if you're applying it. I'm not saying he's applying it. He is going to be tried and convicted in their minds of insurrection. And under that code, that would ban him from running for office for 10 years, thereby ending his political career. But that's their interpretation of it. And, the code is from the Civil War. But, I think that's what they're going for under Psycho Mark Elias.
Makes sense. What's the chances the government wants Joe Republican versus Joe Democrat attacking each other so they don't see corrupt government being corrupt? Pretty high, I imagine.
Yeah, it's pretty high. I mean, that's their game. Deep state pitting one against the other.
Definitely.
Um,
But Mark, you know what?
yeah. Yes.
You know,
What is it?
you
Yes.
know what makes us feel better
What?
about the deep state?
What?
If we
Oh
just,
no. Oh no, Huntley. Don't tell me.
if
Don't
we
tell
just-
me.
if we all could just have an Oswald Patsy.
Oh Jesus Lord! It's the dog, Chris Banks. The dog of death.
Patsy, well, Oswald will make you feel better.
Right.
Just
Somebody was
automatic.
mentioning Don DeLillo's novel Libra, where they said he thought Oswald was a patsy. And in the novel, he's a patsy, but he gets off 3 shots trying to kill Kennedy, and then he's a patsy. So it's a different kind of patsy in the novel, which I straightened out. Somebody was talking about it.
I guess.
Carrying a backpack.
There you go.
What's in that backpack, you think, Kirsten?
Probably a laptop. They probably glued
Right,
it to him. You will
come
not
on.
drop that
Or
off.
maybe his painting set. So he
Oh,
could
I'm
paint
sure.
along. He could paint on Air Force One, and then sell it as being painted on Air Force One.
Yep.
God, I hate that dog. Anything on John Lennon assassination? Chapman, obviously, MK Ultra. We all know that. Yeah. Oh, here it is, the super chat. Right. Thank you. Yeah. I mean, obviously, Hawaii had an incredible MK Ultra program where Chapman comes from. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff. I'd love to do a piece on John Lennon. Fortunately, he's from England, and we can't.
Yeah.
But we can mention him in the John Sinclair story because he tours to get John Sinclair out of prison, which we
and he
will.
did die here.
Okay, but so can anybody, you know.
I guess that's fine. We have so many shows.
How close are we to Civil War?
This is like a Tim Pool question, I guess.
Right.
Tim Pool's always like, we're gonna be in a civil war.
It depends how you define Civil War. I mean, there's different kinds of civil wars. It doesn't have to be. I mean,
Well, we're already in one technically. Then, if we're looking just like a cultural war.
What's the guy's name?
we're in a-
Schlichter, who writes these books. Schlichter, who wrote these novels about the red state versus the blue state. Great novels about this post Civil War environment where it's everybody. The red states are settled and the blue states are settled, and nobody's going back and forth anymore. Very real, interesting take on what the Civil War might be.
I'm not familiar with that, but
Schlichter, I think his name is.
okay.
I have to look it up. Kurt Schlichter. Yeah, there it is. That's the cat. Kurt Schlichter. Great novels. A bunch of us are reading them simultaneously. There's a couple of them. Fantastic. Highly recommended.
Cool. I'll have to check it out. A couple more from locals. Have you heard about the deep state tidbit that one of the key controllers / managers in DC Comics is closely related to Huma Abedin? Totally unprepared.
No, I have not heard that, but I wouldn't be surprised. She's a honey trap that's really well connected.
Yeah, I believe. Is it the Arab Brotherhood or something like that she's tied in with in Egypt?
Oh,
The
right.
Arab
Yeah.
Spring
Yeah.
people?
Yeah. Her mother ran a newspaper there. Oh, yes, that's right. Her mother was a radical Muslim newspaper owner in Egypt.
Okay.
Muslim Brotherhood. Yeah. They covered that up pretty quickly. But I remember doing a deep dive on her back during the Clinton times. Muslim Brotherhood. Yeah, there. Anita B's got it. Huma family from the Muslim. Absolutely, I forgot all about it.
I knew it was something I couldn't remember
it's been a
which
while,
one it was.
Yeah, I don't know about DC. They've destroyed comics, DC and Marvel. Okay, well, that's a separate issue. But
Well, I don't know if it's CIA or woke. I mean, it's like Disney woke fest.
right, I'm doing some research on General Edwin Walker again, and looking at how Mad Magazine did a parody of Edwin Walker, and then he wrote a letter to J. Edgar Hoover to go after Mad, which ends up being part of the investigation of Estes Kefauver, who we discussed with Robert Barnes 2 weeks ago on Freeform with Barnes and that committee that Kefauver ran out of Chattanooga, Tennessee, the committee, the Rackets Committee. They also went after Mad Magazine and a bunch of different publications.
Yes. Mad was so cool. I missed that. He has a backpack to hold his crack and pipe because he needs to hold a lot of material.
Right. There's a lot in that backpack. Nobody x-rays that.
A divorced mother honey trap. Times must be
Could
desperate.
be, yeah. No, it's all right. No
Yeah.
offense to divorced mothers. I mean, there's a lot of beautiful, wonderful divorced mothers out there. They
Oh,
call
for
them,
sure.
how about MILFs,
Yeah.
right?
Yep. We'll do a MILF episode. No, I'm just
Oh,
kidding.
no, that's terrible. That's
You're the
terrible.
one who brought it
By the
up.
way, I'm going down to the great state of Texas on Monday to explore Dealey Plaza. We're going to attempt to do something. It may be too hot to do anything, and so I don't want to promise anything, but I will be in Dallas next week in Dealey Plaza to explore and try to find the ghosts of Jack Ruby and others who are from down there. So I don't know what we're doing on Tuesday, but I will film something somewhere at some point. Let me just put it that way. You could air it separately.
Yeah, we'll figure this out. It's going to be crazy. On that note, next Friday there probably won't be a show.
What? Hunley is just an incredible bear of bad news here.
Hey, you know what?
Dr. Doom, Hunley.
I try this, and then Mark's like, "Hell with it! I'm not going to be here." And I do everything I can to get the guy here. I don't know what to tell you. I begged, I pleaded.
Well, maybe we'll get Barnes to fill in for you as a co-host. They used to have co-hosts on shows. Remember, guys didn't show up, but they got another. Like Johnny Carson didn't show up, but they got somebody else to sit in for Johnny.
Yeah, I could just. By the way, that would be a fun show. Who's going to work the tech for you now?
Nobody. That's what I'm saying.
It'll just be like they'll be showing. I don't know who your audience will be, but
at least we could talk among ourselves, me and Barnes. You know, it'll be like a Skype conversation with me and Barnes, and we
probably
can broadcast it whenever you come back if you decide to help us. But the subscribing thing seems to be going through the roof, Hunley. We're almost at 30,000. Where are we now? Can you help us?
It's almost 27,000. I believe.
Can these people help us get to 30,000 if they subscribe?
I hope so. Yes, obviously they could help us get there.
Now,
Sure. There's 1,481 people watching right now.
Oh, come on.
So that would be awesome. If you haven't subscribed, consider doing that.
How do they join this locals thing? There's a lot of people. I remember I didn't know what locals was when I first started this. I had no idea what locals was. And now I'm putting all these documents on locals. So the deep state, if they do raid my freaking house, there will be documents up on locals. I mean, I got a closet full of crap back there of stuff, but I'm trying to get as much of it on locals. And I've sent it to other people, by the way. If something happens to me, there's people who have these documents. I just want to put that out there right now. And some of them I put on locals that I find, to be of interest. The love letters between Ruth Payne and Marina Oswald. And if you join locals, you can read a lot of this stuff, right, Eric? Or
you can only read it though. But the cool thing about locals, and I encourage everybody to do, is you can post on locals too. If you have something to share, and you can comment on other people's posts. If you're a supporter on there. So there is literally a community. Mark and I talked about it, and he agreed that it was a better way to go. We also have YouTube memberships. We hit 100 of those, which is awesome. Great. We do appreciate it, but we don't focus on that because YouTube membership is quite literally top down. Like we say something and post it and you read it.
Right.
Locals is a community where you can post, you can communicate, and everybody can do things together. And I personally would rather be part of a community than a leader of a membership thing.
And that's unstructured.locals.com, Eric? Or
yes, sir. There's a link in the description. Ray J just put one in the chat, one of our Scots. I'm
glad Ziggy got back her YouTube channel. That was really nice of you to help,
yes.
By the way.
Yeah.
That was very nice.
Thank you.
And coffee cup, I can't use it every week. It's just too large.
Got a new member. Thank you, Fix.
Thank you. And you can follow me at Lord Buckley on Twitter. If you want to be involved in the JFK Book Fund, you could make a contribution to me at PayPal or Venmo, apparently.
Yeah, we have Venmo, PayPal.
Right.
I think I even have Cash App myself.
I don't even know what Cash App is, but
if you want to contribute just directly to both of us, you can also do one-time contributions on locals, and that'll go to us. I'm on Twitter as well.
You are?
Yeah, there's my name there, Hunley Eric.
Right.
And if you follow me on Twitter, because I don't know if this guy's going to actually retweet it, I will post when the show is going to be. I post it during the day,
right.
And also within a half an hour of the episode. The notifications on YouTube are not that reliable. So if you do follow us, you'll get that I'm on Instagram,
Look
same
at
name.
this Kathy one is pretty good. Put that up there. There's a super chat from Kathy. Thank you for protecting the vault and yourself. I'm coming first, but the vault second, Kathy. Thank you for that super chat.
Yes, thank you very much.
Right, but I'm taking the vault with me if I go down. I'm trying to hide stuff all over the place, but yeah, the PayPal book fund really helps. That finally I got the General Walker book. I'm only sitting on 20 copies, but I finally got mine.
Well, that's because everybody had a copy. They're like, it's fine, whatever.
My copy. Where's my copy of the, So yeah, I really appreciate it, and I'll write you a personal, funny note if you do, which is kind of fun for me.
So on that happy note, Tuesday we'll probably be talking about. Well, I don't know what's going to happen Tuesday. We may be talking FBI reports. I may be dropping an episode in between now and then. I don't know. I'm trying to line something up, and it may involve somebody who is involved in the whole Rust shooting. Maybe an interview. We'll see what happens. I don't know for sure. Can't promise it, but everybody come on by with Locals. I do a show there every Saturday. Just
it's like what, cooking with Hunley?
Yeah, it's called a grill stream. You don't see me cooking it. I just hang out, ask whatever questions, very top of mind, informal show, just to chill out. Nothing super exciting either way, but it is fun to hang out with everyone and get a chance to see the show.
Okay.
So, until then, I hope to see everybody at Locals and at the show next week.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.